Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between the Dreamers and the Ravens. Game number 1 was, well, a very one-sided affair for the Ravens. The Ravens looked really dominant in their approach and honestly never had a crack in their armor at all. But for game number 2, I need a specialist on the mic, and of course I've got the one and only Bowie to join me for this showdown and the next showdown that we'll of course be covering. Thank you again for joining me today. Happy to have you.
Oh, thank you. I already like this a lot because Dreamers, they didn't really go for the DKTruman, obviously because they have 5th pick, so usually you don't see that much at all. And Ravens actually just picking this Razor kind of blindly. So I felt like the Razor in that draft was really good to address the DKTruman. That's why it looked that good. We were also against the TA that Dreamers picked knowing the Razor was there. So maybe Ravens is just like, Dreamers, they'll just give Coca-Hook TA whatever happens. And then I think this Razor is a good pick. If not, I'm not that big of a fan of the opener that they went for. Sure, the Beastmaster got banned, and, you know, Beastmaster Doom is, like, omega powerful. But, you know, I do have my doubts about this Razor Doom opener. So I feel like Dreamers is already in a much better position in this draft.
Okay. Yeah, I do concur. DP is always pretty solid. Doom is kind of a hit and miss hero. I've seen it played actually more as a position 4 than an offlaner these days. I'm wondering if they're gonna stick to that one or just give it to Benjas, but that's why it's so nicely flexible. Same with like the Tiny and Death Prophet, reasonably flexible so far. Nothing really set in stone. No big surprises in these picks just yet. No, you know, fun quirky heroes. Unfortunately, I want to see that techies come on.
Yeah, the Marcy was banned. I do like Marcy. Not in my games, because it's always in the enemy team and the enemy player is really good. But in professional games, I think she's super fun. She has multiple ways of being played, right? Sometimes you get the pseudo alacrity that gets lifesteal instead of attack speed, or the I'll just try to displace people and play as a mini Tiny, but you have the inbuilt blink dagger so you can go for other items. I think she's super fun.
Definitely a hero that after they nerfed her and like removed it where you can jump over enemies and stuff, I really thought that the hero would not get that much play in professional Dota, mainly because it stopped appearing in my pubs. So I thought, obviously then the pros won't, but you know, I stood corrected. I mean, currently in the meta, I think Puck is one of the strongest mid laners out there, and Marcy works really well with the Puck because you can easily snap that coil every single time.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a good combo for her. And they actually go for this IO, so whether it's going to be like a Razor Doom lane or a Doom IO lane or even a Razor IO lane, I think that is something Ravens did really well in both games. Sure, I don't rate Razor Doom together as a really good opener, but there's a lot of flags here, and it makes drafting against these lanes really hard. Grimstroke is fine, I think. Having the silence for the IO is okay. You always get the soulbind off because the IO is going to be tethered to someone. But I want to see a partner that allows this Grimstroke to shine a little bit, because they don't have any like combos with the ulti, and I also don't see any really good Inkswell targets. So maybe like a Void Spirit that they played. Maybe the Grimstroke will enable the Void Spirit a little bit more if they play now.
Yeah, just get Juggernaut. Juggernaut's stupid. The shard is stupid. Like, Omni Slash is actually the weaker part of the hero, which is ridiculous.
Oh, for sure.
If you've got the shard, why would you Omni if you could just spin and do a gazillion amount of damage in the middle of a team fight while you're also hasted?
The problem with Jug these games, they're just gonna get destroyed by Razor. They'll play Razor off lane if they pick Jug right now. So I think they have to wait for some.
10 seconds.
You know, maybe they can 5th pick the Jug. I wouldn't mind that, but you gotta make sure the Razor is not gonna be playing against you, because that lane is insufferable, I think. Because they'll just play Razor IO in that lane, and you'll never kill the Razor with spin or the IO.
Yep, definitely do concur with that one. They did pick the Void Spirit, as you mentioned. Great combination with the Grimstroke. You get the Inkswell stun off a lot of the time, especially to get rid of the IO, because you need a diving hero. I mean, Tiny, of course, is one that you could have played with. In this case, it looks more likely that it's a Tiny 4 with a DP off lane, Grimstroke 5, Void Spirit mid, and then you just pick a safe laner that hopefully has some way of getting on top of your opponents to make the Grimstroke Inkswell do something.
You know what? I kinda will wait for this pick, but I think Anti-Mage doesn't look half bad here. You can actually reflect the Razor Chain Link. There's not a lot of stuns. You can also reflect Doom. You can just jump on top of the IO, works well with Grimstroke. But we'll have to wait for this pick here and see what they'll go for.
Anti-Mage. Ew.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not a hero that is picked very often or overall good. But feels like they love to give Kakahook the win condition. In that game, even though they gave the TA, that is usually a win condition, hero to him, I felt like he was not in a position to ever carry against the matchups. So I would like to see just like a better matchup overall. They go Kunkka, so there's probably going to be mid, but still all of the other lanes have so much flex. Jesus.
Even the Kunkka could be a flex. You could always pick up a safe lane Kunkka. It can even be an off lane Kunkka. I would assume it's just the mid because it does pretty decently against the Void Spirit, even though Void Spirit technically also does decently against the Kunkka because you can easily dodge the X mark. Or you should be able to easily dodge the X mark unless you make a very big mistake.
Yeah, I think if you really want to play Anti-Mage here, which is probably not going to happen, but I'll entertain the idea. I think you ban like Slardar and whatever other offlane matchup that's terrible for you. And then it could be playable. But yeah, they take the Timber, so I doubt that's what they're going for here. They'll probably go for some Strength hero, right? Maybe Wraith King, just for the 2 lives.
But against Razor?
Yeah, I mean...
it's good against
ideally,
Doom, I guess.
Yeah, it's really good versus Doom. It's really good versus Kunkka. Obviously, the fights being long are bad versus both, but you have a Death Prophet, so you want the fights to be long. You want a hero that can soak up the damage, so the Death Prophet actually does damage herself.
Okay, so you're going a Wraith King. What other heroes are still left? You could always... CK.
CK, yeah. Maybe a Zven.
Sven has been looking pretty decently lately. Maybe it's just a straight up safe lane Tiny, and we're just getting, surprised in that regard.
True. They banned the Void and the Weaver again, so definitely not wanting to give those away. Oh, what about... Oh, wow, I'm not going to say it.
No, say it.
But
give it.
What about a Sniper?
Everyone
I know
plays
it's terrible
Sniper
versus...
lately.
I know it's terrible versus Io, but if you just get a BKB, then you don't care about Kunkka. You can probably just right-click the Doom before he even gets in range to Doom you.
I actually don't mind it.
No.
You go completely a different direction. It is Strength hero, though, but also a hero that has been picked up a slight decent amount more as of late, so... Interesting approach. I do know that they have played it before, I think last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? So they have played the Bristleback safe lane before, and they've been very successful with it as well.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's like the lane is fine. I mean, the lane is pretty bad though, because I feel like this Razor's gonna be off lane, right? And so you like how do you even lane as a Bristle here? You're just gonna...
You don't right-click, you just spray.
Yeah.
Spray.
You just spray.
Spray and pray.
Oh, wait. This could be Death Prophet Sport, and you play carry Tiny. I actually would prefer that so much more. I'm not a big fan. But I think...
Okay.
I mean, no, I know it's not going to be that. I just feel like I don't like that decision at all. Unless they maybe send the Bristle bottom to...
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
So it's offlane Doom. Okay, then all of a sudden I like Dreamer's side more.
Oh.
Doom
Alright, yeah, I
offlane
agree.
is not something I enjoy in this case. I think... I mean, Ags is great because of course it has... if you get Ags on Doom, it has a break. But for the most part, I really like Dreamer's lineup just because of that last change up in the choices on the Raven side.
I agree. I expected the Razor to be off lane. If there's a game in this series Dreamers is gonna win, I think this is probably the highest chance. This Bristleback's gonna have a fine lane. You have this Void Spirit being enabled this time by Dreamstroke, and Dark Demon can definitely rotate in a game like this, unlike game 1 where he just felt stuck with a DK that didn't want to do anything. So, they have the tower push coming from the DP instead of the DK this time, but they have this Bristleback that ideally, if he scales, will tank a lot of spells, be this nuisance guy, whilst the Death Prophet and Void Spirit kind of carry the game. So it looks like a much more solid draft, actually.
I do concur. It definitely looks solid, as you mentioned. The lanes as well, like it's probably going to be an IO Razor lane against a DP Tiny. DP can pretty much solo that lane for the most part. Tiny will, as you mentioned, rotate around. It's still not like you're playing Mirana, so you can. Instead of last game where you played Mirana, you couldn't get a kill. Now you're playing Tiny, where you're still going to get a kill, but slightly more chance.
No, there's definitely more chance, right? There's 2 melee cores on the side of Raisin, so he can definitely like walk around the Kanka if he's in the river to get a good toss back. There's way more potential for sure than in game 1. So I think it's gonna be Dark Demon has to play well. It's not like a free tiny support game, but there's definitely some potential there. You can also toss whoever the IO is tethered to away. You can interrupt some relocates. There's definitely a lot of value coming from that bad boy.
I'm just gonna be focused on pronouncing it viscous nasal goo instead of vicious nasal goo every single time.
It is, yeah, it definitely is a viscous word to speak. It feels like your mouth doesn't allow
Snot.
the word to come out.
Snot.
Yep.
It's just snot in your face the entire time.
Okay, so I really like this Doom opener, by the way. That's an opener I've been going for a lot in my games. Just go the wand. Sometimes you go Quelling Blade, but he actually went for even more branches this time against that Bristleback. It's going to be very impactful. Gives you a little bit of armor as well. He has 5 armor, level 1. That's crazy value.
Yeah, that's definitely not too shabby.
This hero used to have -1 armor, right? Oh, hello.
And just
okay,
dead?
did I jinx this guy?
Inkswell? Oh, no. What?
Oh, what?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess he expected the Bushwalk to stop the Bristle, so... I think if he actually got it, like, super early, they didn't know where the Hoodwink position was. I guess he just wants to secure the range creep, maybe expects the Bristle to struggle with that a little bit. His base damage is definitely inferior to Doom's 69 damage.
Really?
It literally says 69. It's written there.
I mean, it doesn't matter what region you're from. The jokes stay the same.
See? He got the range creep because of the 69 damage.
I was not watching at that moment.
He got the deny. I guarantee you he got the deny.
Okay,
but anyways,
I'll believe you in this case.
We see some creep pulls here coming from Dark Demon, which I don't mind. You just want to separate the IO from the Razor, which gives this DP pretty decent lane as well.
Bottom lane, Bristleback should be... there's definitely a bit of kill threat on both sides. And because they tend to not go for Bristleback early on Bristleback. So if you're not careful, the Hoodwink level 2 plus the Doom with Scorched Earth running you down could be a bit problematic.
Yeah, they actually have a lot of kill potential. I felt like one thing they were lacking a little bit on Ravens was burst damage. But when you pair this Hoodwink that is not only burst damage, but break towards the Bristle, that was a really good last pick. I think I didn't really talk too much about it. So they kind of rely on having a really good lane, maybe kill this Hoodwink a couple of times. Because if Dismar has a free game, I feel like this Bristle can be so sad.
And in the other lanes, where do you think... okay, you know, last game it was 6 minutes. First blood was secured. I can't even remember who died. Where do you think first blood's going to happen this time around?
I think it's going to be safe lane. The Dreamer safe lane for sure. I don't expect either mid or top to have any action whatsoever. Look at that. They're still dragging creeps at 3 minutes. That's what they want to do. They just want to farm.
Yeah, top is definitely, you know... Razor static links you, you Spirit Siphon him, and you're just standing next to each other like, yeah.
It looks like they're playing Dota 3 here. There's like a 4th lane somewhere.
Yeah, they swapped around. Now it's the Dark Demon Tiny with the Razor and the DP versus the IO.
Yeah, this is very... yeah, that's definitely very next level, but it is the right play, I think, coming from Dreamers. They're definitely... I feel like they're playing all lanes much better this time. The Bristle did start struggling a little bit, but the first waves were really good for him. He tries to get a kill there, but doesn't actually get it.
They did go for the cool spray. Does it still work that if you eat an acorn tree, you get the Iron Branch buff from a...
I think it doesn't anymore. Actually, I think that was nerfed. But I actually have characters, so I don't play too much Hoodwink. That's why I will pretend. That's why I don't know this. It's not because I'm dumb. It's because I respect myself. They go for the Grimstroke.
That is first blood.
You're right.
Called it in the lane. Kill return for the Bristleback will come through though. And well, he does already have his Ring of Health finished and delivered.
Mid lane.
But yeah, there's definitely a little bit of threat coming out currently. The DP only has 7 creep kills. Like, he's really struggling in that top lane.
What? I actually didn't catch that. Yeah, that's definitely... I mean, there were like 3 or 4 lanes that were dragged by the Tiny, so I'm pretty sure he should have at least like 12 CS, despite the ones that he got from this wave. So that's pretty crazy.
I'm not opposed to taking the...
I guess when he was competing against the DP, against the Razor in lane, it's a bit more problematic considering the Razor.
Yeah, but look at the damage, 69 damage. That's the number. Like you just get all the creeps.
Number. Yeah, but Razor
against
hits
57
really fast.
on the Razor.
It's like a sniper.
And you have a nuke. But yeah, I think that's definitely not great. But, you know, that's a 1-1. Definitely way more potential coming from these heroes. Because, like, in that game, you could see that the DK was just supposed to be a stun guy. And he never really got to a game. I feel like even without farm, the DP here is important. It's going to be effective just by levels. Which, you know, she has a decent amount of. Pretty... Actually, ahead of experience in comparison to Benjas.
Which is surprising. Considering Benjas does, of course, have an assist to boot. And he has not whiffed on a single creep wave. Does, of course...
Yeah, I think Dismar just lich more experience, right? He's level 4, whereas the Tiny is level 3. Oh!
Well, it will be a nice arcane room for the Void Spirits.
And
And that's actually going to kill the Hoodwink. Inkswell should be an easy setup for the Aether Remnant. And the Hoodwink will probably die? How is he?
I don't think she will. Yeah, she had a pretty decent magic wand.
It's been a massive magic wand.
No scurry, so it was pretty much just... wow, I definitely expected him to have more damage there.
No, just
level
shy of
2
level
well.
6 as well.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, unfortunate. Because the gold advantage is starting to pile up once again. I guess the Doom factor definitely playing one there as they go for the DP.
Dark Demon did TP in to try and help out the DP. But yeah, again, you know, Ravens, it's 1-1. We're 7 minutes in. Very little actual action, but still Ravens are 2k ahead. Just like last game, they're just better at farming, better at the laning stage.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's definitely a little bit of the Doom factor there, but it's only 1 point in Devour, so you can't even attribute so much gold advantage to that. It's just
He's not
winning the
even using
lane.
it right now.
And look at that. That is a... Oh, very close. To
So,
the
stunned up. Do they have the damage? They need to be careful because Quill Spray can hurt like crazy. X mark goes, ship connects. The Quill Sprays are starting to stack up. Gotta be careful. Viscous Nasal Goo coming through. Slow him down. Hoodwink is in trouble. And this Bristleback is looking for blood. Yep, just whip me, baby. One more time. Kunkka is in a world of hurt. Ganking a Bristleback without a break or just... Dude's got a Vanguard. He is already at the stage where he's almost immortal, and just a huge falter on the side of the Ravens.
Yeah, the hero is so vicious when he can just turn his back around and tank a lot of damage. I think the way they angled that smoke was not good, because the Kunk is on level 6, so he didn't have a lot of reach with the X. And as you said, with no Doom, they didn't have the damage. So very... I think the Bristle also played really well. He went into the trees there, so there was no vision. It took them a while to get the Bushwhack, and he bought time for the rotation of the Void Spirit. Still, though, the gold advantage is kind of insane. And look at the stacks in the Dire Jungle.
Yeah.
Insane play.
Just like last game, Kara making all those stacks happen. Dark Demon will die, and that will immediately be the cue for them to take those stacks before a random Bristleback TPs in and starts running it down in the meantime. You need to get rid of it as soon as possible, which will also be a lot of experience for the IO, who was falling a little bit behind in terms of the experience gain.
I'm so jealous of this Razor. 2 games. Can you imagine playing supports like this?
I am a support like this.
Are you?
I literally do nothing else but AFK and stack to the jungle.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes a little bit too AFK, but that's beside the point.
I know how it feels. They do go for a smoke here. They're late, but if they can catch the Razor, no level 6 on IO.
Will at least get one
Toss back?
kill, maybe? Oh, that's a nice toss back, but Stark Link onto the Grimstroke. He's in trouble. X Mark should find the Grimstroke. Dark Demon running opposite directions. Does not have a TP on him, so he's in a world of hurt. And he is very... Oh, that was a nice little leap. The Courier is actually trying to gain vision. Dark Demon jukes and breaking some ankles. Thunderstoy is just a mini blink.
Pretty nicely done. I'm not a big fan of how the Death Prophet played here, actually. I think he could have connected to them. Instead, he tried to solo the tower, but DP way worse at doing that than, before the change to her ulti. So I don't think this damage is really that matters that much. They do lose the Doom, though, so that's pretty good for Dreamers.
Nice toss
It's
back.
going Midas on the Doom, though.
Okay, I was a little bit afraid that you were talking about the Bristleback. Like, that would be horrifying.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad there's no Midas on that Bristle. Did go for the Vanguard, pretty standard. Soul Ring, pretty standard. Lots of physical damage. And now the Sunjin Yasha. Okay, I think the Yasha is definitely good versus the Razor. After all, you don't have an innate way to deal with the static link, and you also don't want to go for staff on this hero. So that's pretty much the only way to deal with that.
That's kind of surprised that he's not going for a quick Ags Rush, for instance, this time around. But I guess, the hero wants to be as fast as he can. Speaking of fast, Razor's going to get jumped top lane. Do they have the damage? They already used the toss, unfortunately, and there's the IO with the relocate save. Does, of course, put him in a tough spot of bother, but the problem is they don't necessarily know, who's going to come in.
I think the problem with the X this game is that there's Doom, right? He is going to get Doom 90% of the time, so the Eggs has no value, and he feels like the status resistance plus the move speed maybe is going to be better. I think it makes sense, honestly. It's either... Because Void Spirit is really hard to do. So it's either going to be him or the Death Prophet. If the Death Prophet already ulted, he is, literally the only hero that is worth dooming this game.
Yeah, okay. That does make a lot of sense. Then just go Loadstorm.
Sure. I wouldn't mind seeing the DP getting one after this Scepter. So we'll see what they'll do there. Still, it feels like Dreamers, they don't function as a team the same way Ravens does. that tower is still up. You have X already. So everyone could already be top to try and force a move. Everyone's just farming their own items. Like this Tiny is just roaming. I don't feel like anyone is necessarily playing with anyone. And because these two supports are not farming, it means the Ravens that just, decided to position in a way that they can farm the triangle with the big jungle. There's the Hoodwink playing with the Kunkka. There's the Io playing with the Razor. Everyone's kind of safe and farming at the same time. Whereas... I don't know. Dreamers, the supports are kind of like close to no one really.
I will have to say one important factor. Look at the tier 1 tower bottom lane on the Dire side, what Benches has done.
Yep.
God,
That's
that looks so horrid. That just looks horrid.
Wait. What are you talking about?
Near Benches. Doom.
Oh God! Oh,
that is cursed.
God.
Cursed image right there.
Jesus! Oh, it hurts. Okay, TP from the Conquer.
Top lane relocating as well. At least he dodged the bushwhack, but he needs 50 Spirit Siphons off at the same time, and that won't happen. Taken care of. They're looking for their Tiny as well. He will be able to get himself back, but yeah, they rotated the Bristle back through as well. Well, he sees big fat stacks, so he might as well take those in the meantime.
What I'll say is, the career for DP was like 100 range away from the Uceptor being delivered, so I think that was an intentional bait, but they just didn't expect the Kunkka to respond that quickly. So, kind of unfortunate, because if she does get the Uceptor and dodges the boat there, that's a totally different fight. Just, unfortunate. It happens, Yeah, there you go. She has it now.
Yeah, bad luck, unfortunately. Tier 1 tower top is still standing. But to be fair, there is not a single tower that has been taken down this game. Both these teams playing it very...
Resident Sleeper.
Yeah, very Resident Sleeper. This entire series so far. It's not as action-packed as I would have expected it to be. Chase in though, keep the Kunkka out of the fight. They're actually trying to take him down while the DP is being hunted. He already used his Yules. The DP is in trouble. A lot of damage being dealt here, but the Doom thrown out on the Void Spirit, and that is a very nice double kill secured. The Bristleback is here, but how much more can he do considering the Ghost Ship and everything is still available? Dark Demon on the side is being hunted. Inkswell comes out, charge forward. Can he get a multiple hero stun? He's gonna go for the Kunkka. Ghost Ship available, can they stun it? Can take him down, one more right click, and the Bristleback does get the kill. Now he just needs to spray and viscous snot all over this Razor. Who cares about right clicks? The Io does. He brings out the big fat healing, turn around, all your damage is actually still there because it's a Bristleback and he has stupid amounts of damage that he gains from the Warpath. So honestly, against the Razor, it's not a bad choice to play Bristle, because even if he steals all of the, has a full static link duration, it still does not do anything against Bristle.
Yeah, I would agree. At least now, eventually I feel like the minus armor, if the Razor has the OT turned on, the minus armor stacks a lot on Bristle. He's not, a particularly high armor hero, even though he built pretty well towards that, right? He has the armor crystal ring and the phase boots. But right now, it's looking pretty good. That is a tower. That is a kill, and if they can defend mid, that would be pretty good.
Well, the Bristle's here, so that probably is already enough to warrant the defense of mid. Kunkka does have Ace Room bottled up, and is going for the BKB first item. Razor already has his. The Doom, Handamitis, Blink is going for his own BKB. Dark Demon in trouble. He's trying to get the Thunderstoy luck, but unfortunately the damage will make sure he cannot use the neutral item.
Okay. What I want to see now is this Bristleback, because he went for this Sanjanyasha. I really want to see him being the first point of contact for Ravens. I feel like the Void Spirit shouldn't be in that position, because if the Bristle want to play it like that, I just agree with you that Ag should have been his first item, right? If you just want to YOLO with the Void Spirit so that you don't get doomed, then he could probably have more impact having Ags right now. So I hope that towards the next fights, we see Bristle being doomed so they can use the value out of the Sanjanyasha and have everyone else doing damage to the Ravens heroes.
Well, they do manage to get a second tower on the side of the Dreamers. They are 6, about to probably be 5k behind. Still, they do manage to take down... Okay, still 6k behind, but they do manage to get the first 2 towers in the game. Currently, I mean, Lissex and Miji are just so incredibly poor. And Void Spirit's not a hero that recovers easily from a deficit.
Yeah, this DP is level 10. Like, when you look at the levels, Hoodwink, Io is level 10. The position 5 is the same level as the offlaner right now. Just because they stacked so much, they pretty much stacked, like, every camp whenever they could have on the side of Ravens. But that's going to be Roshan, which is something they were not able to acquire game 1 with that TA draft. So that's a good start, I think. Is there BKB on this guy? Oh, Kunkka does have one, so it's good they actually tossed the Kunkka away.
And the Aegis is now on the Bristleback, which is great. But then he definitely needs to be that first point of contact, as you mentioned. Like, you want the Doom thrown on the Bristle. You need to force that to happen. Otherwise, if it still happens on... Bristle is great, but he can't actually 1v5.
No, not at all. He just gets kited way too much. Like, this Razor has 450 move speed with treads. Once again, having an amazing timing on the refresher. Could even be faster than game 1 if he doesn't die too early. Everyone on the side of Ravens actually has a move speed skill, right? The Ghost Shape gives move speed, the Razor has a move speed passive, the Doom has a move speed ability, Hoodwink has one, and the Io has one. So this Bristle can be mega ignored if they just want to ignore him, which is problematic. He really needs to be just like forcing them to cast spells on him, or else you know, this DP is once again so far behind. I'm actually kind of surprised. I feel like this, you know, in game 1, I didn't really blame the DK being this far behind. I feel like this game, the DP could have definitely played a little bit better.
It really is everything on the Bristleback. You did, of course, mention, you know, they like giving him the win condition. In this case, he has to really make true to that promise that he can be the win condition for his team.
He's playing against that break. We didn't really see Sharpshooter landing, but if it does land, dude, it just completely crushes this hero.
He also has a Spirit Vessel, or the nasty healing that a DP brings to the table, and the Bristleback, obviously.
Yeah, and we talked about that. Lotus doesn't feel like anyone is going for that right now. Maybe that could be Bristle's next item, but the DP going for BKB. So, very... greedy build, I would say, from this DP. You know, I don't feel like the BKB is really gonna change that much, but I feel like the Lotus on this Bristle could be a way for them to actually win this game.
Dark Demon gets the toss back. I assume he was literally just spamming the tree toss the entire time, because it didn't even feel like the Hoodwink was close. He just randomly flew right towards the Bristleback. They get that kill, they get the tower. Bristleback is very close to finishing up the Axe. They do not want to fight on the side of the Ravens. But even, like, during this entire situation where they push the tier 2 tower and they're pushing further and further, the net worth advantage also keeps growing for the Ravens. Like, they're just so massively far ahead.
Yeah. It's just like the efficiency on the side of Ravens has been, you know, way better than Dreamers, unfortunately. And the heroes are also much better, right? You have this Devour Doom farming like Ancient and Large Camp stacks at the same time. This Razor, you know, not known for being a farming hero, but if you just spam, if you max Plasma Field and just spam your ulti, you actually farm pretty fast. And they don't feel threatened at all, because there's always an Io that can tether to these heroes to save them. Kunkka is unkillable. Doom is Omega Giga farmed, so if he turns BKB on, no one can actually, like, there's no fear of a smoke gank or anything.
And it's going to take a while before, I mean, the Void Spirit's going for the Kaya San. She's now done with the Kaya part, which, I mean, it's a nice item, but at this point, you've got 2 items that realistically don't have any big uses in a fight. They're nice if you want to, like, burst the supports, but it's not like Yules or Ags or something where it can disrupt the fight completely for the enemy side. You get doomed, you're still dead.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I guess, you know, I was kind of harping on DP, but I agree. The Void Spirit, he also had an arguably better lane this time. And he's behind the DP, man. That's crazy.
What a terrible lane. Like his
0,
scoops were
1, and
yoinked
5.
all over the place. He couldn't get anything caught. Razor though?
He has a refresher. Dude, this is such a hard kill. Okay, he just TP's away. Alright.
Yeah, the IO is still nearby. Yeah, he's also gonna TP out. At least they force him back. Slight net worth change up. 1k has been decreased on the side of the Ravens, which is pretty big, and the Bristleback now has his Ags. Though the Aegis is about to be reclaimed.
Yeah, they didn't force as much as they had to. I think that as long... Yeah, there we go. They already smoke. As soon as these Aegis is out, they understand that the tides have changed very, very much.
They got a decent catch here, though. Smoke break could be problematic if it gets spotted out because they've got that high ground ward. Smoke does get broken. They spot it out. Blink back. Immediately refresh gets used onto the Bristleback. All the damage being rushed out. The ghost ship comes in, and that is a double kill secured. Looking for more. Miji trying to bring in the heat, and they will only find the IO in the process. Miji, at the very least, gets the TP out. Did halfway during that fight, all of a sudden, some of the names of the players come back? Because now all of a sudden I see Miji's name.
Yeah, that's kind of
But not on
crazy.
everyone. Only the Radiant side, except... and Kara.
What happened?
Valve?
Well,
X, please?
maybe. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, I think that was... like, the age is expired, right? They know they're pretty far behind, so playing the triangle there, even with the ward, I think was very... was wishful thinking, and they just get an amazing Doom. This DP doesn't have BKB, so she dies afterwards. I don't know. I feel like this game somehow looks even more grim than game 1.
I don't go that far. It still looks grim. However, I still have a feeling that Bristle, if they make a mistake on the side of Ravens, he runs in with that Axe and he doesn't get duped, he can do a lot of damage towards the Raven side. Whereas last game, TA could not touch any of the cores.
But that's my point. Like, Ravens are really smart. Have you seen what they can do? They like hide jury. They can like understand very advanced concepts. I don't feel like these Ravens are gonna make many mistakes.
Dark Demon at least forces out the BKB, but TP attempt going away. He just disengaging. Comes Kuka trying to catch up to the Hoodwink, who is in the trees. But the Hoodwink should be just fine because he's a little bit too far away. And there they even throw out the voice lines. Oh no!
Yeah. So what's the timing here for Ravens? It's pretty much Doom being back up. I think they can probably go for another smoke.
Yeah, this is I mean, the Void Spirit, he's done with the Kai Sanj now. Lissex, he is queued up that he wants to get the Shard and the Lotus Orb. Now has the BKB, which is the first BKB on the Radiant side compared to Ravens, who had their first BKBs on like all 3 of their cores at minute 15.
Yep. I do like that the DP has the Lotus Orb queued up. I just feel like it might be, it might take some time unless they win the next like 3 fights. But that's the right idea. That's definitely an item they need. Bristle back. What? I think their Shard doesn't look bad this game actually, but probably want to finish BKB first.
Yeah, the you preferably get it just from the second Roche, which is wishful thinking, as most people tend to do. A lot of wishful thinking.
I mean, they can definitely force Roche. The problem is, when they did it the first time, they were like 3,000 gold behind, so it was a little bit easier. This time, it is a 13k gold lead, so I doubt Ravens is just gonna let them do it. In fact, they're gonna smoke right now while they show this Razor plus IO, so pretty standard moves, right? Smoke you 3, and then the IO Razor can connect. And they will find people here. Oh, there you go.
Oh, Kuka is the one that they find. Bushwhack does not connect. He gets broken, gets a jump away. They relocated in. A complete whiff on their engagement for the Ravens. Luckily enough, Benja's, he was in the animation to throw out the Doom. Luckily enough, he did not do that.
It's 550 move speed on the Bristle when he has phase boots and 7 charges of Warpath. So he is a fast boy. Even the slow from the sharpshooter wasn't enough. All right, that was decent. You know, had Roche respawn right now, maybe they could just go in. But that is not the case. They still need like 50 seconds.
I was actually checking, like, the Kunkka. His scaling on Ghost Ship is just really weird. Level 1, 2, and 3, it's so minimal. 10-second cooldown reduction and 100 more damage for the next level. It feels weird that it's just an ulti and very little increases.
Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, it's definitely a little weird. It's just one of those spells that, like, the level 1 is so good that the scaling has to kind of be toned a little bit.
Yeah, but wouldn't you then just nerf the level 1 to make it scalable? If the level 1 is that good,
Really, right?
that level
It's kind of like,
you don't want to use it. Like, it doesn't really do that much more compared to level 1 as compared to level 3. Then it means that 1 is just too strong.
yeah, but like too strong is relative, right? I think like Primal Beast is a good example where the hero definitely got over nerfed, and the strength of the hero was all of the power spikes were early centric, and so it's okay that the hero is broken, you know, in the first 20 minutes because he is not gonna scale later into the game, and so. Like, Kunkka actually scales really well with other spells, like Tidebringer and the Talents and everything, so that the the OT can be strong level 1, doesn't scale too much, or else it would be too strong. Like, do you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, but, like, okay, the 40% damage delayed, that one is stupidly strong, no matter what point in the game you are. Like, that might... I wouldn't have minded it if that was like a, you know, 20 to 30 to 40 swap over.
Kunkka players would, though.
Yeah, but I'm not a Kunkka player, so I don't care.
Speaking of Kunkka, he finds a
bind onto 2. Double toss comes in. They quickly get rid of Banjas. No Doom for the fight. He doesn't have a buyback available. The relocate comes in. Kuka is not to be stopped here. They will find Dark Demon on the side, but Kara, the IO relocate's not going to keep him alive, and that's going to be a big double kill. Lissex with the BKB doesn't have anything to fear charging forward. That is huge. Both Ravens players, no buyback, and without a Doom, there's nothing that stops the Bristleback.
What a crazy fight. They actually had a ward there the whole time, and Kunkka definitely took his time pressing the BKB, which allowed the Eva toss to hit on the Doom there, and also the Grim to cast his spell. So I mean, so crazy. Very nicely played by Dreamers. And I mean, I guess we talked about this being wishful thinking. He got his shard at the end of the day. The gold advantage is still massive. So I'm not sure how much this is gonna matter, but it, you know, it delays the game. It makes it more interesting.
And you immediately see the next move coming out from Benjas. He is going for the Aeon Disc because he needs to get the Doom off. That is right now his, like, all the other items are nice and dandy, but he needs to throw that Doom on the Bristle to interrupt the Viscous Nasal Goo AoE spread and the Quill Spray shenanigans.
Very, very true. Also, one thing we didn't really talk about. Look, like, Kunkka Hook is 9-1, whereas everyone else is not positive. I guess the Voice Spirit is 1-1-0 is, you know, maybe it's not positive. But the point being, I don't think I remember a game where, like, one hero held 80% of the kills in a match at 31 minutes. That's actually kind of crazy. Like, in a professional game, at least.
He's just kill stealing the entire time. I know it's filthy. Disgusting.
I mean, you don't really kill steal with Bristle. Like, the damage goes so slowly.
No. Look at that right-click damage when he's got max Warpath stack. Dude hits like 400 auto-attack damage. Oh, that two-man torn by Nango. Beautiful. Guessed it completely. Gets a double kill. Kuka's on the run. Buyback immediately from the Tiny. That was That was just pure instinct from Nengo coming through. He knew, he smelled, he thought it was coming through. They did have that ward still on the other side though, but that was a big play coming out. Benji's with the TP out. Bristol still has an Aegis, so you definitely do have to be a little bit fearful, but that was so good from Nengo.
Yeah, they kind of
Step lively now.
took a lot of time to actually do anything. They had, as you said, the Radiant had vision there. There was also a gem on the ground that fell from, I think, the Hoodwink. But, oh, hello.
Toss back away from the IO, but he does have a relocate to try and heal. A lot of right-click damage comes in. Forced F, he gets silenced up, he can't get away, but they will find the Tiny instead. And actually the IO needs to be careful. Gets Aether Remnanted back. IO can't get the tether going. IO is dead, but does have a buyback available. They're going for the tier 2 tower bottom because the wave is being pushed in. There's also a random courier on the side.
What is happening here, DK? This is...
Who cares about net worth advantage when you've got a big, fat, juicy bristleback?
This is so crazy. And they also had to force the refresher there for the Kunkka, for the Razor to cast BKB again. So now he doesn't want to fight. Okay. This is starting to look... I mean, the gold advantage is still, like, gigantic. But we're finally seeing, like, Dreamers actually took the aggressive position in what felt like ages. So that's pretty promising. You know, it shows that the players finally feel like they can play Dota again. And they are connecting. It felt like Ravens really couldn't bleed and were not making any mistakes. But they definitely did a couple. I guess they've been farming for so long that they forgot that, you know, playing S5 is good. They're just being picked off.
Yeah, they're looking for a catch. Miji throws up the 8th Remnant. They're trying to find him. Chan, it does have a buyback available on the Grimstroke. At the very least, the Aegis is going to expire in give or take a minute, so Kuka does need to be a little bit careful of the positioning coming out from the Ravens, and now they're going to try and use that advantage, which they still have in terms of net worth by a long shot. I mean, Kuka is doing a lot of work, but his the other two cores are still really, really poor.
It honestly feels like they could go high ground if they wanted to, especially with Echo Exorcism being on cooldown. But they're going to play safe. You know, they did a couple of mistakes right now, so just get the map back, make sure all the waves are pushed, and then we could see a smoke game. Because really, the smokes from Ravens did not hit this game. Most of them were pretty mediocre.
It's still a rough affair. Doom's going for the refresh orb, double Doom. Get one onto Kuka, and the other one, of course, thrown out onto Miji. Would be massive. Miji's going for the Lincoln Sphere. DP Lotus is getting closer and closer. They get a catch onto Dismar, find a quick hoodwink Secural.
Oh, that's gem. That's huge.
Oh, that's actually pretty big, yeah, but there's the chase in Benjas. He's trying to get the Doom off, gets it onto Kuka, but he's got a BKB and he's running for the hill. Soulbind should keep the others away. Can find one target. Lissak's actually going back in. Kuka's Doom has almost ended, but the Razor has joined the fight, and the Razor does hurt like a mother trucker. Kuka needs to be very careful with the armor being reduced, and that does a ton of damage. Kuka is in trouble. He's being chased down the side lane, coming through. Forstaff can't keep him alive. Dark Demon's gonna need another one done. And I am baffled at that fight. Why did they go back in? They doomed the Bristle, and he was gone.
Yeah, if they actually waited together for the Doom, it could have definitely been a better fight. The Bristle didn't really run away, so he was like, I have Sanjay Nasha, I can fight. But his team had to kind of back a little bit. They just took way too much damage, and when the Bristle was back in fighting shape, there was not enough backup for him. That Skadi just destroys Bristleback at the moment. All of his HP regen. He also gets kited. It felt like until the Skadi, he could just run away from everything, but the Skadi made it much worse.
And he also had no BKB plus Lissex. He used his BKB the moment that pretty much Kuka came back into the fray. The BKB on both him and the DP were gone. And at that point, like, the fight's going to be pretty rough because Doom has, as you can see, pretty lengthy stuns coming out with that shard added in. Ghost Ship on top. Lissex is dead. That is also a dieback coming through on the DP, and with that, I assume the game is going to be over, said and done, unless they make one big fat play coming through. They're going to go in onto the Razor. He does have his Satanic BKB in a couple of seconds. The IO is keeping him healed up. And yeah, they don't have that big healing reduction. They don't have a Shiva's Guard or a Scotty themselves. The IO just keeps him healthy the entire time through. Oh god. Against Kuka, look at that damage he takes. He still hurts so much. Soulbind gets thrown out, but they don't really care that much. Kuka needs to be careful. Dad is a monster at this stage in the game.
Yeah. It really feels like the itemization on the side of Ravens was much more synergistic and better. This Bristleback, lacking the Lotus Orb to this point. He's gonna do some damage, but the tower's falling, And
the Doom just got thrown out in the nick of time as well onto Kuka. He's now running through. Buyback comes in. Ghost Ship Fleet flying in as well. Kuka, can he get the damage going? Nango is dropping low. The Ancient is under siege, but won't drop just yet. And they keep themselves alive for a little bit longer, but how long is the question? Because Dad's got that refresher available soon. He's got the BKB. The Ancient slowly but surely dropping. The IO on the back end is still there to heal, even relocate in case things go horridly wrong. Dad even just pops the BKB. Refresher, ready for the second BKB. They can't keep this Razor off the Ancient, and that is the big problem coming through. Finishing it off in style is Dad and Ravens. And another series that does not go to a 3-mapper. It is another 2-0 coming through in the South American Division 2 of the DPC League.
Yeah, this is a very enlightening game because, as you said, we kind of expected this to go 3 games. Dreamers, the team that didn't drop till this series, just felt totally outclassed by Ravens. There were a couple of moments here and there. The Dreamers, felt like an actual team. I think this was a better draft from them, and they did execute it a little bit better. But Ravens, they feel like they are in another wavelength. So far, feels like they are way ahead of everyone else. Sure, still kind of the middle of the season. This is their 4th game, right? I don't know, man. I feel like they are pretty much solidifying themselves as one of the teams that are going to go to Div 1.
I don't think there's a chance that Ravens will lose the remaining 3 matches. So that means they are close to being guaranteed. Of course, there's nothing like a guarantee at this stage, but they are just on the edge of qualifying for Division 1, and they definitely deserve it. I mean, that showdown was very one-sided. There were, as you mentioned, a couple of moments where it looked like there was a chance, even with 15k deficit. The bristle was massive, but the problem was the Lissax and Miji just had no farm. They could do nothing, whereas their opponents, they had Scotties, they had Shivas, they had so much for the healing reduction. Lotus Orbs could be into play. If you had those items to keep the bristle alive, things could be different.
Yeah, for sure. But, they played well. I think they understood how Roche was important. They actually managed to get both Roshans this game. But I just felt like overall they just played very slow. Like they knew what they were supposed to do, but they were not fast enough. And that's very, common with these Div 2 teams. Like the knowledge that they have isn't that different from the Div 1 teams, but it's how fast the execution happens that really changes things. And Dota is a super snowbally game. So like one thing happening at 8 minutes versus 11 just changes the outcome of everything so much. And it felt like they were always a little bit slower than they had to. And maybe if they were able to snowball a little bit faster, they could stop the farming that actually never stopped from Ravens. They, like the way they stack, the way they farm is way ahead anything I saw in Division 2, which is why, we're kind of saying that they might just qualify. But nonetheless, I think Dreamer still has a chance. But Ravens, everyone needs to watch these Ravens games because they are crazy good right now.
Yeah, Ravens definitely look ahead of everyone else. Does mean that we now have 3 teams that are tied for second place: Curitiba, Dreamers, and South Team, the very big surprise this season. So yeah, definitely a lot of shenanigans going on. But right now, next up will be, of course, Battle of the Bottom. It is Balrogs, who last season got relegated from Division 1 to Division 2, and Noping, who, while also have a couple of players that play Division 1 in Leostal and Moose in their ranks. They will both be playing with, of course, substitutes. I don't know what the substitute is going to be for Balrogs as their offlaner. It used to be King Taka, but they played with Soul and Hijack before. Whereas Noping, they used to play with Louis, but now they picked up Brack. So we get a little bit of NA flair in Division 2, which is, I think, the only NA player in South America, Division 2 at the very least right now.
I think so, yes. Very hard to see. We see a lot of, SA teams in NA, but not that many from NA to in any division, really. I think Noping had... that's the second time where they have an offlane from NA, right? Because they had Monster in the first tour, actually, when they were playing with Analog, when they were in Division 1. Those days are long gone. They are in Div 2, no wins, so this match is super important. So if you guys want to support Noping, if you want Brazil to have more Brazilian players in Division 1, like, you really got to cheer for Noping, because they are 0-2 right now, and they really need a win.
Yeah, they got destroyed as well in their series against South Team, so that was kind of interesting to watch. Of course, player-wise, they are a star-studded team. Mandy, Leostal, in this case, Brax, Moose, and Duna is like, how are they losing these games is the big question. And same for Balrogs. They came from Division 1, but for that showdown, we'll of course go towards a break. Gonna take about 50 odd minutes before we are back on the mic here. So in the meantime, enjoy the music, get yourself something to drink, refreshen up, because there's going to be a very important match for both these teams. There is still a chance, for instance, for Noping to advance on to Division 1, but they need to win everything from this point on if they want to make that happen. So it all starts here, or if they lose, then it's really trying to get knocked out of Division 2 and go home with 0 money, because last 2 places get nothing, nada, yet for their troubles. But for that, we'll be going towards a lengthy break. Hopefully, we'll see you for the last Division 2 game of the evening, because of course there's still Division 1 Infamous versus Wolf Team last for the day. But for Division 2, me and Bowie will be on the mic again. We'll see you after the break.